Romanian orphans. You need to be aware of the Romanian orphan studies and the effects of institutionalisation. So the effects of institutionalisation, there are four broad main effects that you have been taught. So physical underdevelopment, so lack of emotional care has been found to be the cause of deprivation or dwarfism. Can lead to intellectual underfunctioning, so found that institutionalised children score poorly on intelligence tests. So think back to Goldfarb, that found that those that were raised in care homes had lower IQs in comparison to foster children. It leads to disinhibited attachment, so this is a form of insecure attachment type, and it's generally characterised by over-friendliness with strangers and attention-seeking behaviour. Poor parenting, so women reared in institutions experience more difficulty acting as parents compared to those that hasn't been raised in an institution. Rutter's study into Romanian orphans from 2011. So he wanted to investigate the long-term effects of institutionalisation on the Romanian orphans. So the procedure was the researchers followed a group of 165 Romanian orphans who had experienced very poor conditions before they had been adopted into Britain. It was a longitudinal study, and their physical, cognitive and emotional development was assessed at the ages of 4, 6, 11 and 15. They also had a control group of 52 children that had been adopted from British care homes. So findings: half of the orphans, Romanian orphans, showed mental retardation when they came to the UK at the age of 11. At age 11, recovery rates were related to the age of adoption. So those that were adopted before 6 months had a mean IQ of 102, so around the average IQ. Those that were adopted between 6 months and 2 years had a mean IQ of 86. Those that were adopted after the age of 2 had a mean IQ of 77. So you can see that before the ages of 6 months, it doesn't really have that much of an impact, but after the ages of 6 months, and particularly after the ages of 2, it can have a massive impact on intellectual underdevelopment. Also, the frequency of disinhibited attachment, again related to the age of adoption. So it was rare in children that were adopted before the age of 6 months, but those that were adopted after the age of 6 months demonstrated behaviours of clinginess, attention seeking and disinhibited attachment types. So the conclusions were, the findings supported the view that there is a sensitive period in which attachments form, and if an infant was adopted before the age of 6 months, it didn't appear to have long-lasting effects. However, after the age of 6 months, institutionalisation does appear to have long-lasting effects in terms of emotional and cognitive development. So, Anna is an orphan who's been recently adopted by a British couple. Before being adopted, Anna lived in an institutionalisation with lots of other children in very poor conditions. Her new parents are understandably concerned about Anna's early experiences and how they may affect her in the future. Use your knowledge of the effects of institutionalisation to advise Anna's new parents about what to expect. Now, it doesn't say at what age that Anna has been adopted. So you may say that if she was adopted before the age of 6 months, it's likely that she won't experience intellectual underdevelopment because Rutter found that children adopted before the age of 6 months had a mean IQ of 102. If she was adopted after the 6 months, she may experience delayed intellectual development and problems with her concentration, and therefore might not progress as quickly at school. So if she was adopted between the ages of 6 months and 2 years, her IQ would be around 86, and after the ages of 2, her IQ would drop to about 77. She might also experience disinhibited attachment, so she might be overly clingy, attention-seeking and over-friendly with strangers if she was adopted after the age of 6 months. So if we look at some evaluation then, so we've got some contradictory evidence. So institutionalisation might just result in slow development. It might not be the effects are long-lasting, and it could just be that when they're measured, there is a time period that they are just slow to develop. So it could be that good quality emotional care may reverse all the effects, and saying that these long-term effects are irreversible is a bit of overemphasizing the findings. Other explanations: deprivation is only one factor. The Romanian orphans also experience poor physical conditions and a lack of cognitive stimulation. So damage could be a result of multiple factors, not just deprivation or privation. Also, it's been useful, so there are strengths for it. So research has improved the lives of children in care. It highlights the importance of early adoption and providing that maternal figure and good quality care for children. Also, it was a longitudinal study, so it reduces any individual differences. By following the adopted children, it's able to determine whether the majority of the effects can disappear over a period of time and with good quality care or not. So in terms of evaluation type questions, you might even get a multiple choice that's evaluation based. Below are 5 evaluative statements about Romanian orphans. Which 2 are correct? So the Romanian orphan research is limited because it involves a few case studies, good because it involves comparison with control groups, scientific because it shows cause and effect, ethically questionable because it involves separation, useful because it shows the long-term effects, not just the short-term. Now, best way to do this is always to rule out any incorrect answers that you know are definitely not correct, and then work your way down. So it's not scientific because it doesn't show cause and effect. It's not ethically questionable because you haven't caused separation. So then we've narrowed it down to 3. So it is useful because it does show the long-term effects, not just the short-term. So that is a good evaluation point of it. It's good because it involves comparison with control groups. Again, it does do that. Limited because it only involves a few case studies. Now, it doesn't necessarily involve that fewer case studies. It is quite a large sample, so you should have B and E. Discuss the effects of institutionalisation. Refer to studies of Romanian orphans in your answer. So, important to outline and evaluate. So your 6 AO1 marks and your 10 AO3. So remember, about a third of your essay should be AO1 and 2/3 should be AO3, and you should be spending more time on your evaluation than your outline of the Romanian orphan study, so Rutter's study, and the effects of institutionalisation.